Welcome to a live stream, man. Week 1 of the NFL season is here. Lions, Packers. We got a pregame show to do. It's good to be back to the pregame shows. Give me 1 second. I got to send a link out. But it's good to be back to the pregame shows. Today we got a full we got it all today. It's great. We got it all today. We got players to watch. We'll do our score prediction again, but we also have a pick 'em. I'm going to say that from jump. We got a pick 'em today that we're going to do. Let me make sure I don't get my Wi-Fi on. So we got to pick them. We're going to do. The link will be in the description if you want to join that group. The password is DOD. The league name is DOD. So I do want to do a pick 'em this year. We haven't done that in a few years. And I miss it, man. We got to get back to, especially after how the first two games went. You know, like I tell myself I would have had those two right. Like I definitely would have taken the Chargers. And I definitely was taking the Eagles. Though the Cowboys shocked me a little bit. The Cowboys did their thing. There we go. All right. Bam. So we'll drop that in there. We'll go to the pick 'em secondly, but we're going to start with players to watch. We got about 35 minutes until week 1 kind of officially starts. Sunday slate starts. So we won't make this too long, but we definitely have to do this. And we also have inactives to take a look at as well. Actually, I say we start there first. Let's just jump right into that. Let's talk about what we know so far. There may be more that we know than what I actually have here, but I put this little graphic together of what we know so far, what I heard this morning when they were going through the players that were inactive, active, who was likely to play today. Here's what I heard this morning. So I'll throw the graphic up. This is what we're looking at so far. Here, bam. Oh, that looks good. I like that. That actually looks pretty slick. I wish I could have myself. You know, I could, but it's fine. Here's what we know so far. Jamarco Jones, he's out this game. They actually listed him as out, though they also put him on IR. So I don't know that they needed to do that, but Jamarco Jones is out. That's disappointing because I think they were looking at Jamarco Jones as their jumbo package offensive tackle. The interesting element to this more so is the fact that they elevated Anthony Pittman and not like Dan Skipper. So they activated or elevated Anthony Pittman for special teams, of course, and also probably for a little bit of linebacker depth. You don't have Trevor Nowaski. Anthony Pittman can kind of settle into that role. He also can play off ball a little bit too, so you get a lot of flexibility with him. But instead of going tackle, they went with no tackle. They're just going to be leaning on seemingly Giovanni Manu. If they want to go to 6th offensive lineman, if they want to go jumbo, they'll probably just put Manu in that spot, which is interesting because we saw some of this in training camp. I don't know if the Lions are going to deploy it week 1, especially without having Jamarco Jones, but they did this in training camp. So there's a chance we see a little bit of Giovanni Manu today. It's on the table. It's possible. Sione Vaki's also out, which is sad. It's just disappointing. If we're going to see 2 running back sets, Vaki could be such a big part of that, but he's out for this game. And hopefully it's not long-term here. And then Trevor Nowaski as well, which is, at this point, the positive note is it's kind of depth. But, man, he was awesome. The way he finished the preseason was awesome. Let's use it in the chat. We got Detroit Sports Talk in here. Patrick's in the building. I think our secondary is going to be nasty today. They're going to be tested, too. You know, they're going to be tested. And we're so familiar with these guys, right? We kind of know what works or what's worked for us, which has been a lot of man coverage. The Lions played the 7th most in football last year, according to PFF. But we also know that they have guys that match up pretty well for us. It's just, can they catch the football? That's kind of the element that I'm focused on, is can they catch the ball? And I know the Packers fans are thinking the same thing. Like, for example, we'll talk about it. We'll go to players to watch. But there's a guy that's really good against man coverage on that team. Now they have Matthew Golden in the mix. Like, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And I think for the Packers side of things, they got to be thinking, hey, we got guys that can get open. They just have to make the play. That's on us. It's less about them, more about us. But at the same time, I'm excited to see Kelvin Shepherd, to see if he gives us something that I wouldn't have expected. Like, I just want to watch and see if it's like, I wouldn't have expected this would have been the plan. This is different than what I anticipate. Because I anticipate it's going to look like last year. I anticipate a lot of man coverage. I anticipate a lot of blitzing. But does he wrinkle in a lot more zone than I should expect? Is it not as much cover 3? Maybe it's more 2 deep safeties than I would expect. Like, is there more of that going on? I don't know. That's what I'm fired up to see. Staying on the inactives real quick, we'll wrap this up here, or what we know so far. These aren't all inactives, but I just spoiled that. That's cool. Inactives. Micah Parsons is expected to play this game. They kind of, the way they worded it from what I read this morning was their focus is using him on pass downs. Like, that's kind of the way that Mike is going to utilize this. He's going to be used on pass downs, probably not going to move him around a bunch today. But it does tell me that that's the mindset, is eventually they're going to be moving him around. I think that's the best. If you're going to pay Micah that kind of money, that dude needs to be out on the field all the time. You need to deploy him as an off-ball linebacker against the run, and you got to put him on the edge to get after the quarterback. Today, it sounds like he's mainly just going to settle on the edge, probably not play every snap, just rush the passer in this game, which makes a ton of sense. It's beneficial for the Lions because it's a little bit less of him seemingly that we'll have to deal with. But he's going to change the game. There's no doubt he's going to change the game, and he's expected to go. Deontay, is it Deontay Wicks? Wait, is it Devontae Wicks? It might be Devontae Wicks. Hold up, I don't remember which one it is. I just put Tay Wicks. Tay Wicks expected to play too. He could play in the slot. And then Jaden Reed, I believe, is also getting the nod to play today. So the receiver room is pretty healthy. So this is what we're looking at from who's healthy, who's not. For the Lions, it's mainly backups. It's mainly backups across the board. And then it's just about bringing Anthony Pittman up. So we'll leave that there. Let me see what the chat's talking about, and then we'll get the players to watch. I'm fired up, dude. I'm fired up. This beat's got me fired up. Oh, God, I got the shirt on today. It was perfect, man. It was perfect because I'm like, what do we wear for the first game? And the first shirt that I see, I did not do this on purpose. First shirt that I see is Marcus Davenport, man. Come on, dude. Like, this guy's going to be awesome today, bro. He's going to be so good today. I was so pumped. Like, oh, my goodness. It's just sitting there waiting for me to pick it up. So I put the Marcus Davenport shirt on. We rocking today. Davenport's going to be crazy today. I'm ready for it. So is Manu the swing tackle, or are they going to use Jody? Yeah, I would think it's Manu. I don't think they're going to use. I wouldn't think they would use KO'd for that. Which is, yeah, that's why it's interesting because, you know, they could have brought Dan Skipper up if they wanted to, so they must be comfortable there. I think they probably would have leaned Jamarco Jones. That would have been my guess if he was healthy, that he would have just played that role. But, yeah, I would assume that Gio's going to get that. And look, Manu did play both tackle spots for the Lions this preseason. They bounced him around a ton this preseason. And I you know, again, hopefully we're good to go and we're healthy. We don't need him, but assuming we do, it'll be for jumbo packages, and then they can bounce around there. And look, I think we can be better. The interesting thing with me between a guy like Jamarco and Gio, and this is what I would like to see. And I don't know that they'll use any jumbo package without having Jamarco Jones. If that was truly what their vision was for him, they just may not even try it. Yeah, I think the benefit with Jones was he was a better run blocker. They viewed him as a people mover, and that's when you usually put 6 offensive linemen and just move guys around. So not having that available, they may be like, you know what? We're not going to use that very much. We're going to kind of scrap that. We won't use that much here. Now, if you're doing play action for pass protection, Giovanni Manu could be a big-time upgrade over Dan Skipper. I never thought Dan Skipper was great in that role specifically. So he could be a big-time upgrade for the Lions there. He could just be more agile. You're putting him out in so much space that he has to deal with. He could be much more comfortable there. But as a run blocker, I don't know how much they're actually going to utilize it. It'll be interesting. Now, we did see they leaned on him that final preseason game. They leaned on him to see if he would create some movement. So we'll see. But the positive is they're comfortable with him. Positive is they're comfortable. I just don't know if they're going to use it. I get the sense they're not going to use it. Like, it's weird because you saw it in camp, but I get the sense they're not going to use it because they don't have Jones. I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon. But if he does well, then, you know, I don't know. There's a lot going on here, okay? There's a lot going on with one. Okay, let's keep it moving. Let's go to the players to watch. Let me see who's in the chat. My bad. Let me see. Here's a great big dose of game day. Woo! For you, Dan. Hey, how you doing? Bo Booth, it's good to have you here, man. Okay, I already read that. Packers had to bring up their 7th round cornerback pick off the practice squad. That's what we didn't do. We should have. I should have threw that on there. The elevations for the Packers. Let me do this real quick. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up over here. That way it's just easier. That way I don't have to try to share it and everything. We'll read those off real quick. We'll do that. But let me see what I got here. Because these were early morning. This was an early morning graphic that I put together, so this was not recent. But I'm sure we're gonna get the official inactives here any second. And well, we probably got them about an hour ago, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Let me see. Roster moves. Okay, here we go. We'll go to that real quick. We'll go to that, and then we'll talk about the thing. Let me see what we're talking about. Do we see? Did you see Trasier cat grin from Shep on the sidelines? Oh, okay. Hold up. I can't read. Do we see a Cheshire? I don't know what that word is. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You taught me a new word today. I don't know what that means. Cat grin from Shep on the sidelines. Curious or curiouser? Okay, you lost me with that. I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you, man. That's okay. So here's what we got. Packers elevated cornerback Micah Robinson off of practice squad for the active game day roster. Okay, that's the only move that they made. Oh, okay. So that's what we have. I guess the interesting thing will be there is Nate Hobbs. I think we're gonna get the net. Well, actually, timeout. No, the game's at 1. The game's at 4:25. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit. But eventually, we'll find out Nate Hobbs. Maybe that means Nate Hobbs isn't playing, which I don't think is. Honestly, I don't know how much to make of that because Nate Hobbs playing out wide is already a little bit different. Though I think he's gonna be good for him. I like Nate Hobbs. I'm a Nate Hobbs kind of guy. But also at the same time, like Carrington Valentine's pretty good against us. You know, Carrington Valentine's not a bad cornerback. And if you don't, like, Green Bay plays a ton of zone coverage, so they don't get isolated very often. And it's going to come down to them is how do they handle early downs against the run? Because if they handle that, they're going to feel very comfy in the back end. Like, they play really well off each other. So I just don't think we're going to get a ton of isolated matchups. If we force them to get isolated matchups, now it might become a thing. And then Valentine is, of course, the guy I would go at there. Nixon did a really good job against us last time at wide corner. He had a beautiful pass breakup on St. Brown. There was an in-breaker we threw about 20 yards, and he was all over St. Brown. It was beautiful. Okay, so we'll leave that there. We'll wait. I don't think we're going to get that information before the game. So what we know so far is maybe Nate Hobbs, maybe not. But to be honest with you, whether or not he plays, I don't really know how much of an impact that's going to make. The biggest thing that I get there is run defense, run support, playing the run, like tackling. That's the vibe that I get of where he would come in handy the most, if I think he would make a real impact there. But he's also missed so much of training camp for them. I don't know that they would even go to him anyway. They might just be cautious regardless. So Nate Hobbs probably ain't playing today. All right, we'll go to players to watch. We got a lot on here, so I'll try to fly through these a little bit quicker. And yes, we're going to do the NFL Pick'em. Link in the description. If you click that link, you can join my group of NFL Pick'em. The password is DOD. The league name is also DOD, all capitals. It's down at the bottom. So join that group. Get in on the picks this week. Of course, we missed the first 2 games, but I want to do a Pick'em again this year. So we're going to do it. Right after this, we're going to do our Pick'em. Players to watch. Okay, I appreciate you for joining. I'm fired up. I haven't done my picks yet, so we'll do them live. Carl Brooks, Colby Wooden. This one's very straightforward. Kenny Clark's not there. You could throw Devontae White in here. I think we know a little bit more about Devontae White. I think he's a little bit more consistent. And then also Nazir Stackhouse, who we don't know much about. Undrafted free agent out of Georgia, the big man, big nose tackle that they have. May call on him a little bit today. But I look at those 2 guys because while you look at it and on paper, oh, we're going to maul these guys. Hasn't always played out like that. And the reason it hasn't always played out like that is, well, last time we played Green Bay, Frank wasn't great. Frank wasn't great in that game. We did a lot of stretch running. We were very beholden to running towards the right side of the offensive line because we didn't have Taylor Decker in that game. And their quickness is their strength. Their quickness is their strength. They get upfield quickly. They jump gaps. They're not going to hold ground that well. If you do get hands on them, you can push them around. So I think one of the big elements of change could be the Lions is trying to get more downhill in this team, less of trying to stretch this team out, maybe just more so getting straight downhill against them. We'll see if that's the case. But if that is the case, it would make some sense to me because these guys gave Frank some problems last time because they were so quick upfield. They were so difficult to get hands on. Both of them bring positive impacts as pass rushers, specifically Carl Brooks, because remember at BG, he was a legit rusher. It was just like, I don't know how he's going to fit inside. And he has in the NFL. He's just undersized, so it doesn't always work that well against the run. And Colby Wooden, I believe, I was told he's going to try to play some nose tackle. That dude is not that big. I believe he's from Auburn, I believe. He's not that big, so it sounds like he put on some weight. He might try to play that role. So their advantage is quickness and speed, is getting upfield, is attacking gaps, is penetration, allowing their linebackers that are very athletic to get upfield. That's their style in that entire front 7. So the Lions may fight that and say we're just going to get downhill on these guys and push guys off the ball. That will probably be their adjustment, I would assume. But if it's not, it's going to be very important that Graham Glasgow's a dog in this game. But I really focus on them for pass pro because we know that the interior is very young. Well, guard positions are young. We know what Graham is, but he's going to center, so it does change it up a little bit. And he was banged up for us. But it's really about what those guys do in pass pro. I think it's a relief to not have to deal with Kenny Clark as we usually do. That feels really nice. I hate having to deal with that guy, so it is kind of nice that we don't have that anymore. Let's continue. Elton Jenkins. I put him on here because to me, it's not like the player that you would attack necessarily. If you're looking at this offensive line, I don't say Elton Jenkins is a wink link by any stretch, but he's the guy that feels the most important to how this game swings. Like Graham Glasgow, he's now going to center. Elton Jenkins, I don't think played incredibly well against us in the last 2 matchups last season, but he also is a very good interior offensive lineman. Like he's a much better upgrade than what they had last year with Josh Myers, who was incredibly inconsistent for them. He should be better as a run blocker and as a pass protector for them. He's got a lot more size from them. We know he can play everywhere on the inside. I circle Elton Jenkins specifically because I think he's a little bit more of, if we play him well, then we're probably doing a lot of good things on the defensive line. The guy that you want to attack, or the guy that you should have the most success against, is the right guard, is Sean Ryan. He may be able to be hidden a little bit within there, especially without Aleem, which stinks, because Aleem was able to take advantage of some of these dudes. Not having Sean Ryan, not having Aleem McNeil kind of stinks for that. It'll be Tyler, it'll be DJ. But Sean Ryan's, of course, the guy that you would think, that's the guy we're going to take advantage of, specifically on the interior, with Aaron Banks now at left guard, him going to right guard. But Elton Jenkins, to me, feels like the guy that's expected to be amazing, but we found success against him in the past. He's the guy that I'm circling. Pat O'Connor did some work last time we played this team because he was so quick off the line. He's the guy that I'm circling. I think he's a swing player for how this offensive line plays for Green Bay because, again, I think it still starts with running ball. It's going to start with Josh Jacobs. Okay, let's continue. We're going to go to the receivers now. This is why this is interesting. I put 2 on here. Of course, Matthew Golden. I would bet Matthew Golden gets the most targets, and it may not be close. I don't think it's going to be like he's a rookie, he's kind of quiet. Like, nah, I think he's going to be massive immediately for this team. Not even Christian Watson, I think they're going to give him the ball a lot. But both these guys bring something a touch different. And to me, they threaten us a little bit differently, which is why I put him on here. So we'll start off with Jayden Reed first. Jayden Reed is a big receiving target in terms of big playmaker. And I still look at Green Bay as this is a team that wants to get over top. All of their concepts are vertical. Everything is over top for this team. And Jayden Reed, to me, is kind of the sleeper within all of that. He's the guy that's going to take the top off. He's very good with the ball in his hands. I think I had the numbers here from last year. So 15.6 yards per reception this past season. He was first in rushing yards for a receiver. He was second in carries for a receiver. We know that this is an offense that with Savion Williams, now we would expect at some point they're going to use him on a lot of jets. They're going to use him a lot of run game action as a receiver. At some point, that's probably going to be Savion Williams' role from TCU because that's his game. But in week one, I don't know that it is. And I was told Savion missed a lot of time, and Savion may not be that involved week one. So if that's the case, Jayden Reed would be. As long as he's right, he would be that guy that we typically have to deal with. And he can separate. He absolutely can separate. He had a 137.5 pass rating when targeted this past year. And he may see a lot of slot work against Amik Robertson, which out of our cornerbacks, I think that's the biggest challenge for us in this game is Amik Robertson. I love Amik Robertson, but I think that's the biggest challenge for us in this game. I expect him to be up to it. He's going to battle with him. I really like him against the run in that element. But that's been a focus now of Amik. I liked him better out wide last year. This year, we're putting him in the slot. We've let him focus there. Hopefully, we see more growth because he's just been able to lock in on one spot. But for me, that's a key matchup because of that reason. He's the guy that will take the top off. He's also the guy that does a lot with the ball in his hands as a runner. The flip side is the other receiver that I put on there is Romeo Doubs. Because Romeo Doubs, to me, while his production doesn't ever really match from a full season of like, oh, this guy's a problem, he, to me, is the best matchup as a receiver, maybe on that team against us. Maybe outside of Matthew Golden, but Golden's the one. He's probably the best matchup for them. Because we play a lot of man typically. Now, this is where I wonder if things will change a little bit. Last time we played Green Bay, it wasn't always man, but it was a lot of match coverage. So you're still kind of man principles in a lot of ways. Romeo Doubs is probably their best separator. Does he always catch the ball? Not always. Is he consistently productive? Not really. But he is great versus man coverage. And to me, for that reason alone, he just matches up to be a player that should be impactful. Now, he hasn't always been that impactful against us. Last year, 4 receptions for 28 yards in the first game. The second game, he didn't even play. So we don't really know. I think Romeo Doubs will be rotational. He'll be situational. He may be like their Khalif Raymond today. But Khalif is always the guy that you're like, against Green Bay, Khalif might be a problem. I get that same vibe with Romeo Doubs. He can come through on a big 3rd and 8, make a great route against Amik 101, separate against Harry on something like that, and make the play. So he'll be situational. He won't dominate, but he'll be situational, and that'll be a key, I think, swing player in this game. That's why I put those two in there. Again, I expect Matthew Golden to get the majority of the opportunities in this game. I also want to throw Tucker Kraft. So this is the last Packers player. I want to throw Tucker Kraft on here. Tucker Kraft is more so on here, not really because of what he is in the passing game, because they had talked about, like, we want to get him more involved. His production doesn't match the amount of times that he has opportunities to catch the ball in terms of the amount of routes that he actually runs. But he still is a productive tight end. I'm a big Tucker Kraft guy too, so I always have love for Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft this past year had 50 receptions for 700 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's not a bad stat line at all. That's an awesome stat line, I would say, from a tight end. But against us, 34 yards the first time, 41 the second time, 5 targets in each of those games. Solid production. I look at it more so for this reason and this reason alone. With these vertical threat, if they had Watson especially, but even without, with Matthew Golden, with what they have, I expect he's going to be maybe their biggest check down target in this game. And that matters because he's one of the best tight ends with the ball in his hands in football in terms of yards after catch, making guys miss consistently. He's one of the best in football. I expect for that reason alone, every check down to Tucker Kraft is real. It's a real threat. I remember that out of South Dakota State, he was the same way in college. He's really difficult when the ball gets in his hands to deal with, and he's been a red zone target for them. So for that reason, I don't know that he has a massive game. I think our linebackers should match up fairly well with Tucker Kraft because I don't see him being a huge issue as a separator. I see him being an issue as a run after catch piece, but mainly as a run blocker. This is where he's going to be incredibly involved. He's going to be involved a lot in their action in the run game. We're going to see him on the move probably a ton in this game as well. You could also throw 2 running backs in this discussion if you just want to talk about their backs and their lead blocking and how Josh Jacobs plays. But to me, Tucker Kraft is a guy that you should I don't even want to say that. Tucker Kraft is a tough matchup for linebackers. The dude's big. He's a people mover. He was in college too. We have a guy like Derek Barnes back that'll probably see a lot of that. So I want to believe Derek Barnes is going to win that matchup majority of the time. But man, that is a swing matchup. That's a huge swing matchup in this game. One of those underrated elements of the Packers offense, how often they're going to get him involved in what they do. Okay, we'll go to the Lions side now. We'll start it off from Graham Glasgow. And I started off for the reason that I kind of mentioned with Frank Ragnow. He wasn't great last time he played the Packers. I think the quickness was the biggest problem for that. Some of it was also stylistic and schematic for how he chose to attack. I didn't think it always leaned into our strengths against them specifically. But for me with Graham Glasgow, it's the change of position. It's the fact that he's coming off a little bit of an injury, but it's also the fact that he played well against Green Bay last time. And him going to center, I didn't feel like he looked as athletic last year. But if that's the question, if that's how they're going to challenge you, I'd in some weird way rather have him at center. He's got two athletic guards next to him that can run, specifically with Tate Ratledge. I'm curious to see if there's a lean today. Like they're like, hey, we really want to get behind Mahogany and let Ratledge chase. Or the flip side, I'm curious to see if there's some sort of lean there. Or maybe it's a lot of gap scheme and they're just like, we just want to pull these two all day long. We don't want to worry about Graham Glasgow has to go reach this block and he got upfield and now the play's blown up. So I'm curious to see stylistically if they're trying to take Graham out of that action or if they're relying on Graham to be great in that action. Regardless of how they do it, he's going to be the guy because I think I know we have with two athletic guards next to him. He's going to be very important, of course, in pass pro as well. But he played well against Green Bay at guard. I'm curious to see if the plan changes a little bit. A lot of stretch runs last time. Did they try to mix it up with him? He only allowed one pressure in each of the games this past year. He's had problems in the past with Kenny Clark, but last year, one pressure in each of those games. We can rock with that. If we do that again, we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. We know it's going to be a challenge on the edge, but we're in a good spot if he does that. All right, next up, Sam Laporta. I've been on this one all week. Sam Laporta to me is, it's a great matchup for Sam Laporta. Now, production-wise, wouldn't tell you that because Green Bay is the heaviest zone coverage team in football, and according to PFF, Laporta's production drops almost as much as any tight end in football from man to zone coverage. He's much more effective in man coverage. That was interesting. But to me, this is similar to what I said about the Packers receivers. It's not about the overall production. It's about the situations that matter. And to me, the situations that matter today for Laporta is red zone snaps. He's going to get opportunities. That's where I'm focused on Sam Laporta. It's run after catch opportunities where he can go make guys miss in space. That's where I'm focused on. Green Bay was first in man coverage in zone coverage this past season. I think that for Sam Laporta, it's more about those spots. It's about the 3rd and 8s when we're going to try to fit it into a tight window to him. It's about when we get inside the 20 and they're trying to bracket coverage or we can get him matched up with the safety against a team that's really, like I said, this is why the idea of, hey, running backs and tight ends one-on-one. It's not always easy to get that for your players against this team because they don't put them in that spot. The Packers are smart. They don't put them in that spot. They don't play to that game in their cornerbacks either. That's not where they're as strong. So they don't put them in a lot of situations where it's like, hey, one-on-one, go cover Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, they're not going to do that. They're not going to put themselves in that spot. I don't think they will. So assuming that they don't, where that matchup can really present itself is not as much third down for Laporta. Gibbs would be, to me, red zone as well. Because now you can start to isolate, you can start to clear out, you start to get quarters looks, you can clear out, DBs, and all of a sudden now you have to have a linebacker that has a lot of space to deal with in zone. Now all of a sudden he's got a lot of room to cover, and now you can essentially create a one-on-one with that guy. So that's where I'm focused on Sam Laporta. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he gets a touchdown on the day, but I think it's big third downs for him as well. All right, couple more here. Derek Barnes. Let's go to Barnes. It's good to have Derek Barnes back, babe. Hey, come on now. Derek Barnes is back, and Derek Barnes didn't play Green Bay last year. Derek Barnes is the perfect opposite to what we have to deal with in terms of their tight ends. They're going to be so involved in blocking. Derek Barnes in coverage. Honestly, I think Derek Barnes should do well in coverage today. Like, on paper, some team may feel like that's where you can attack. If you get a one-on-one with Barnes, we'll go at him. We can shake him. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to do his thing today. So I'm actually really optimistic Barnes is going to have a really strong game today. He didn't play against his team last time. I think he's going to do well against the run. He could bring some juice as a rusher. He could beat those tight ends one-on-one. And also, if we can get him inside and let him get some juice, maybe work some stunts, I think he'd blow up Josh Jacobs trying to pass protect. I love Derek Barnes in today's matchup. I think he is truly crucial to how this game shakes out. Trevor Nowatzki did some good last time. It's time for Barnes to dominate. And we'll finish it off with the interior. Kind of. I know I threw Marcus Davenport on there. I cheated. I did it because I'm wearing the shirt. But DJ Reader to me is the focus. You know, DJ Reader, last time we played Green Bay, he only played them once last year. So keep that in mind. He didn't play him the second time around. He played him one time. He played 32 snaps. You know, he had no stat line, no tackles, no pressures, no stat line for him. And now he's got to deal with, on paper, a better interior offensive line and no Aleem McNeil. So Tyleik Williams, I expect him to do well against the run. And Tyleik may get a lot of Sean Ryan, and he should honestly win that matchup. But for Reader, it's going to be a lot of Aaron Banks. It's going to be a lot of Ellen Jenkins. And I don't need him to have a stat line. I just can't have it getting dominated against the run. I need to play well against the run because somebody has to win up front. I'm going to stick to this. You have to get off blocks. This is one of those games where it's not enough to just settle into your gap. You're going to get outnumbered. Somebody's got to win up front. In the front seven somewhere, somebody's got to. Hutch should add some of that. He should. I expect him to. Davenport should add some of that, but somebody's got to win up front. And occasionally, we're going to need DJ Reader to give us a win. Maybe give us a couple pocket pushes. That would be great. And I finish it off with Davenport because I do like his matchup against Zach Tom and or Rasheed Walker. I love that matchup. And it's time. It's time for Marcus Davenport to cook. Let's just be real with it, right? All this Zadarius Smith noise, Lions edge position. We're looking at it right now. We got Muhammad. I like him. Tyrus Wheat, Tyler Lacey, two young guys. The reality is it's time for Davenport to go crazy. And I think he's got a game to do it. And I think today is that day. So for that reason, those are my players to watch on each side of the ball. Goff does great against the blitz. He does. Now, I know I talked about this all week. Keys to the game, third down. I think that is such a key. I hope we repped it really well this week because to me, in that spot, they run a lot of games. So it's not even as much about blitz because Green Bay, I think at their core, I don't think Green Bay wants to blitz 5. If you watched Green Bay last year, it took a long time before it felt like they were consistently like, hey, we're just going to throw an extra body. They don't want to blitz 5 or just blitz in general. I don't want to say blitz 5. They don't want to bring 5. They want to bring 4, which is why I think they went after Micah Parsons. They don't want to bring 5. They want to bring 4, and they want 7 in coverage. They want to sit in zone because all of a sudden you blitz and you play a lot of zone, there's voids in zones. Immediately, as soon as you blitz 1, there's a void in the zone, and that's a window. And good quarterbacks can take advantage of that. I don't think they want to do that at all. But last year, they didn't find success until they brought 5 because they couldn't get any pressure. So on paper now, I think they're saying to themselves, at least in passing downs, we're bringing 4. But because they're so athletic, they can pick and choose who they want to bring 4. They can bring Cooper. They can bring Micah. Will they be that creative with him? I don't know. Gary, they got a lot of flexibility. They have good, quick interior defense linemen. They can fly those guys around. There's so much versatility with where they can bring them from. So I expect a lot of stunt work. The young guys will be tested. Graham needs to help us stay dialed, right? They're going to bring some where you're getting overloaded and your tackle's going to have to let the edge guy go and step in and step inside, and the ball's going to have to be out quick. So you're going to get a lot of those looks. But to me, the focus is because they connect that with a lot of zone coverage in the back end, the Lions then have to have a good plan for those inverted Tampa 2 cover 2 looks. And if you're not blitzing, there's not going to be a void for Goff to just hit. You're going to have to get your eyes to the right place, and we're going to have the right concept to beat it. And I think really a guy's going to have to be adaptive, like a Jameson Williams who just got paid. Congrats, J-Mo. It's time to be adaptive today. It's time to go win, buddy. It's time to go cook. All right? You got to be locked in with Goff today, and it needs to show up immediately. We've talked about the keys to the game, but those are my players to watch. First, second down, it's all key today. Those are my players to watch. All right, with that, chat, feel free to let me know your players to watch. We've got 10 minutes till the game day or Sunday game day kicks off. I'm going to go to this now. Join me. Join my league. So if you click that top link, there's only one link. If you click that link in the description, the group name is DOD, capital D, capital O, capital D. The password is capital D, capital O, capital D, DOD. That's the group. Join our Pick'em League. We're doing Pick'em this year. Everybody missed the first 2 games because we didn't do it. But we're going to do this going forward. It's okay. We'll miss some games. We'll just miss them. We'll do Sunday games. Join the league. Let's make some picks for this week. Let's see how we do. And this is not against the spread. In the past, we did this against the spread. I ain't doing that. All right. We're just going to go straight up. That way I can pick some real upsets. The spread is stressful. Forget the spread. I don't want to be stressed. I just want to make some picks. Let's go. Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Chat, get in on this. Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Wow, they're giving Tampa Bay an 83% chance to win. You know what's the crazy thing, though? Atlanta won both of these games last time. The Packers might stack the middle, trying to stop us from gashing on the ground. I see Goff thing. So stocking, to your point, Bo, I think the best way for Green Bay to do that is them having to put a safety in the box. Them having to roll a safety consistently down. They can't play 2 deep coverage. If that is the case, that is ideal for us. 100% because it should create one-on-ones across the board. Right? It should get J-Mo one-on-ones, Saint one-on-ones against Bullard, which I don't think they want. It's going to create one-on-ones everywhere across the board. Running backs, tight ends have a better chance of getting one-on-one. There's only 1 deep safety. That's how I think that will come to play, is they're going to have to start rolling a safety down. So I think it's on the board. It's on the board. But remember, Green Bay, here's what we got to remember. Green Bay was a really good run defensive team last year. They lost Kenny Clark, who I don't think was a great run defender anyway. TJ Slayton was the bigger loss. He was the bigger loss on the interior. But they seemingly believe that they have the guys that are going to replace that. They have the young guys that can replace that because they didn't really address it. I don't think Kenny Clark was that big of a loss for them against the run. I think TJ Slayton was. And they believe they have the guys that can replace it. Slayton wasn't a household name, but he was really good there. So they must feel comfortable. They allowed 4 yards per carry. They were a top 10 run defense this past season. How much of a drop-off is there? I don't know. But if there's not a drop-off, man, we're going to have our hands full. And Packers, I think, give off a different vision of who they are, but I think that's who they are. They know they have to play the run. They know they have to stop the run. They know they are going to run the ball on the flip side, and they want to be explosive out of it. But their mentality is, we don't have to blitz. We can stop the run with who we got in the box, with 6 in the box, and then you flip it around to the opposite side. We're going to football away because we're really crafty in zone. On the flip side, we're going to run the football, and then we're going to hit explosives. Like, I think it's a very straightforward concept of how Green Bay plays it. They just do it in their own unique way, but that's how they do it. I'm going to say, I really like Tampa Bay this year. I really like their team that they have put together. I really like their coach. It's a rookie. Well, it's a second-year player making his first, not his first start, but it's first of the season. That's a tough matchup for Atlanta. But I get the vibe that Atlanta can get this one done. Like, if there's going to be an upset, it's going to be right away. So I'll take Atlanta. Cleveland, Cincinnati. 7% pick Cleveland. Hey, I'll be honest with you, man. Cleveland has done really well in this matchup, but they won't today. Stop playing. There's no way Cleveland wins this football game. There's no shot. I'm saying that they probably will. I don't believe it. Indianapolis, Miami, as much of a hard time as Miami has gotten, I think Miami is the better team. I would bet on schematically. I don't know that I love Indianapolis' back end as much to trust them to hold up in a game like this. I like Indianapolis up front. They should beat up that Miami front. I'm going to go. Oh, gosh. I want to take Indy. I really want to take Indy for matchups here, but I don't know how much they're going to score. They should have success. Miami's D-line is going to have to show up. I'm going to take Miami. I'm going to take Miami. All right, Las Vegas, Patriots. This is actually a really good matchup. I'm fired up for this one. This is actually really good. First-time head coaches, a lot of changes. Geno Smith. I feel like they should have rolled with Aiden O'Connell, but whatever. I like their young receivers over there. I don't know how much I actually trust them on defense so right now. How many guys can actually win up front? Getting Max back was huge. I'm going to take New England. I'm always a New England guy. I'm going to take New England. Arizona, New Orleans. Man. Wait, hold up. 92% taking Arizona. New Orleans is trash. But, man, they're going to win a couple games. But they can't get one week 1? I don't think so either. You know what? It's Spencer Rattler, bro. I have no confidence in Spencer Rattler. Let me check out that depth chart real quick. I have no confidence in Spencer Rattler at all. Let me double check. Let me see what we're talking about. Okay. Yeah, man. I don't know, dude. They got some weapons. They got a couple guys in there. They got some. Look, they're trying to compete. Their defense is probably going to get cooked though. But the old line for Arizona isn't good. Give me New Orleans. Stop. Give me New Orleans. Pulling an upset at home. What are we talking about? Jets, Steelers. Oh, I would love to see this. I just don't know how they're going to score. I don't know how they're going to score, man. Give me the Jets. Giants, Commanders, 93% on Washington. Again, I love to see this upset as well. I'd love to see this upset. But I think Washington is going to score too much. I'll take Washington. Jacksonville, Carolina. Okay, we got some games this week. You joined? All right, that's what's up. Put your picks in. Make sure you get them before 1. I got to hurry up. Okay, Jacksonville, Carolina. Who do we like here? 21% on Carolina. Carolina's going to be good this year, I think. But Jacksonville's the team I'm rocking with because I like what they have at weapons, and I'm fired up to see Travis Hunter. Is that at 1? Oh, dude, that's the game I'm watching at 1. I want to see him play. Tennessee, Denver. Yeah, it's 5% taking Tennessee with I would have thought you'd have more picks over there. But I do understand this. We'll go Denver at home. Seattle, San Fran. Seattle's got an interesting team. I think Seattle might be a little bit more proven. Can their O-line hold up? Because San Fran invested there. Can their O-line hold up this week? Because it's not great. And Sam Darnold's the guy this week. Are they going to score that much? Is Seattle really going to put up points like that? I'm going to go San Fran. All right, Lions, Packers. Stop playing. Hey, and 72% picked us. We're underdogs in this game. It's 2.5 points. Houston, LA. This is good too, but I think Houston's got the pieces. Give me Houston. Baltimore, Buffalo. This one's tight. I feel like it's hard to bet against Buffalo at home. It's hard to bet against Buffalo at home. It's hard to bet against the Ravens too. This one, I really don't know. I really don't know on this one. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Baltimore's got the better team. I'll go Baltimore. All right, Minnesota, Chicago. I'm taking Minnesota on the road. I'm going to stick with that one. How many total points will be scored in Vikings versus Bears? I said 34-31. So that's 65? 64? 65 points? Yeah, 65 points. Damn, 65. All right, those are your picks for this week. Those are my week 1 pick'ems. I feel pretty good. I feel okay. I feel okay. Some of these I don't love. I'm not sure on this one. New England Raiders is interesting. Feel good about that. About that one. This one I'm not sure either. I don't know. Giants could pull that up. Giants could do some work. I could see the Giants making it interesting. I just don't love Russell Wilson. Honestly, if they were starting Jackson Dart, I'd be more willing to make that pick. We'll leave it there. Get in your picks, man. 14 this week. All right. So with that, we're gonna wrap it up. I got the Lions. If you didn't see my preview, I got the Lions. You can still watch it. There's more breakdown there. I got the Lions 23-17 in this game. I think it ends up being low scoring. We just have to deal, I think, with the early shots of Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to try to go after us early. We have to be prepared to deal with that from jump and not give up some big plays from jump, right? We got to keep this thing calm early on defense. We can keep it calm early. I expect our offense is going to be kind of sluggish out of the gate. I wouldn't be surprised if our first two possessions were punting. But I think from the flip side, we have to be able to match that. As long as we can match that energy, I think it's going to turn into a game that we're very comfortable with playing, which is a game that's going to be a lot of rushing. Butterfly belly is common before a flight. Just don't lose your cookies. All right. I'm so nervous for the Lions. We can't lose. I mean, we could. You know what I mean? It's a long season. We all right. We're going to be all right. It's going to be good, though. It's going to be a good game. I'm just more curious. I'm very curious to see what it looks like. You know, there is a fun to this. You kind of knew what you were getting with Ben, but what is it now? You knew with Aaron Glenn. What is it now? What differences? What wrinkles, man? I'm excited for the unknown. Yeah, Jalen Carter's crazy for that. I don't know what he was doing. I see 40+ in a yard TD from today from JMO. If we can get that look, if we can pound the rock, man, if we can run the football consistently, it should be there. It should be there today. And there's no doubt they're going to give him looks to do it. They're definitely going to give him opportunities to do it. If we can't run the ball, I think it's going to be kind of tricky to open that up. If we can, they're going to give him the opportunity to get it. They're going to give him the opportunity to do it. I just want Aiden to use a spin move on the left tackle. On the left tackle, he definitely will. I mean, that's Hutchinson's go-to. On Rasheed Walker, he definitely is go-to. He's going to beat him with power early, but he's going to throw that. He might do that from jump, to be honest with you. You know that's his thing. What's the game day weather like? That's a good question. I don't know. Let me see. Packers are playing Washington Thursday night. Well, shoot. I mean, we got a division game next week. But I guess that short week is interesting. That is interesting. I didn't know that. It's a good game, too, man. Okay. So it says it's 63 degrees during the day. It's 59 right now. So fine weather, wind 9 miles per hour. I think everything's good today. It's great weather. It's great football weather. I love that. That's perfect. Nothing to deal with, man. We're playing football today, man. It's clean today. All right. With that, I'm going to leave it there. Football is kicking off right now, so I don't want y'all to miss it. I appreciate you joining. Feel free to watch the preview. Definitely join that league. Get your picks in, even if you're late. Still get the picks in. We'll do it again next week. If you're just joining, feel free to run it back. I'm going to leave it there. I will see you guys for kickoff, 4:25, I believe it is, 4:25 Eastern time. We'll be live to watch it, so join me. And then after that, post-game show on Bleacher Report. I'm out. Enjoy the 1 o'clock games. I'll see you soon.